Welcome, everyone. So excited to share this story with you. So, this is about me when I was a little girl. So, I love hearing this story because my mom took me to get pictures taken when I was about 3.5. And this gal, as a sales commission, talked her into letting me model as a child. And so, my mom, I guess, got talked into this promotion and started taking me to these modeling photography sessions. And then they told her to take me to a beauty pageant. So this is my first beauty pageant, and remember, I'm about 4, and I don't know my right from my left, and my mom didn't know really what to expect. She was just, who doesn't want to take their daughter to a beauty pageant especially when someone is, telling you how cute your daughter is and, the sales pitch, right? So we show up at this pageant and, I'm wearing a pretty dress, but when we go backstage, we're realizing how serious some of these moms are taking this pageant. And my parents were trying to teach me my right from my left, and they were teaching me some of the things that the judge might ask me to do. So I remember going backstage with my mom before it started. And it's really fuzzy, but basically I remember my mom being a little frustrated that I didn't know my right from my left, and that she would tell me to go to the right, and I would be like, she would say, raise your right hand, and I'd raise my left hand. And I just remember her feeling, I remember seeing that she was frustrated, like, no, that's not it, And then I remember her, or the way I felt, was, it doesn't matter. We're here to have a good time. Don't worry about it. And in a way, looking back at it, I kind of felt like she gave up trying to teach me what my right from my left was, and just said, it's gonna be what it is. And so I go on stage, the lights are on, and we are told to stay in a line. And I don't remember this part, so I have asked my dad to tell me this story again and again. And this last time he told me this story, I took notes so I would remember. But he told me everyone was supposed to stand in a line, and I would not stand in the line. And even the judge would say, Melanie, get in line, and I wasn't going to have it. Something must have happened to me when I got on that stage and saw the lights and saw the gal with the microphone, and looking out into the audience, I was seeing other people, and they were looking up, and something must have just come alive in me, because I turned on. My dad said my personality was so big, I stood out. And so I did not know what I was supposed to do. So these gals apparently had been doing this for a while. So they knew what they were supposed to do, and they were following directions. And they went through the girls and were asking them questions. And one of the judges asked me how old I was, and I didn't answer. I asked a question back, repeating her question. So she asked me, how old are you? And I said, well, how old are you? And my dad said that my tone, the way my body language, the way I said it back to her, people started laughing. So that gave me the clue that I was funny, and that I was getting attention for kind of being a smarty pants, right? So I have everybody's attention is on me. And even the judge is laughing, right? So I'm just hamming it up. And I remember her asking the girls to turn to their right. And I just I was just looking out at the audience, and I was doing my own thing. I did not turn around like the other girls, and I looked over at the judge. Everyone else in line is turning around. And she looks, I make eye contact with her, and she starts doing this with her finger as in to express to me to turn around. And I just started doing this. I was mimicking her. And again, the audience is laughing, and she just says, "Oh, Melanie, I want to take you home." And I say, "Well, I want to take you home." And I had the attention. I did not have the skill. I did not have the cutest dress. My parents did not put makeup on me. I mean, these girls were, they were dressed up, right? So who won the beauty pageant? Who won the, I believe it was 3.5 feet tall trophy? I did. My first beauty pageant, not knowing my right from my left, not following directions, not winning the pageant for the usual reasons you win. Not the cutest dress, not the makeup, not the overzealous parents. No, I won for my personality. I won because I was myself. I didn't have anything holding me back from totally just being me. And I feel like there are so many lessons to this story. First of all, I didn't have any negativity. There wasn't any pressure that I had to be a certain way out there, for one. And no one had told me I was wrong, and I took the laughter as attention and a good thing, right? Because we could take laughter as a negative thing, but at that age, it was like, laughing was always a good thing. I probably, even if they were laughing at me because I didn't know what I was doing, I mean, I didn't even know what that meant, because laughter in our home was good, right? So people laughing, I just acted out even more, right? So my dad says that beauty pageant I won because, and the only reason I won was because of my personality. And how cool is that, to win something not the usual way? And I think so many times we look at winning something or getting the best score or achieving and being successful at something is that we have to do it the way everyone else is doing it. And that story proves to me that it's not true. I don't have to do it like everybody else. And I can look at things differently than other people look. And if there's a problem, it can be solved in many different ways, And so the other thing that my parents observed and decided to stop the modeling and stop the pageants was that the moms there were furious. They stared down my mom with dirty looks. They were angry that I won. They were angry I won because I didn't have the skill and I didn't win the way you win a pageant. So they were angry at the way I won that pageant. They didn't like that because they were there for different reasons than I was there. My mom and my dad were there. So it's just interesting how our intention about something also can put so much pressure on us to actually change the result, right? So today, the goal, the intention of this lesson is about self-esteem and how we build self-esteem and where do we get it. So there's another story I am thinking of, and it is the story of Esther in the Bible. And it's interesting because, Esther lost her parents at a young age, and she she was taken in by a family, and she had basically a father figure who cared about her deeply, and the king basically wanted a new wife, so he cast out his old wife and then invited all the beautiful women of the area to learn about how to be a queen and be presented before him, right? And so all these amazing, beautiful gals come to the kingdom and learn how to be queens, and they are shown the ways of a queen. They are given maidens to help them and learn the ways of the court. And what happens is Esther, they have all these things in front of them that they can choose to look amazing for the king, because they all want the king to choose them. And what's so interesting is that there must have been something special about Esther, because people liked her, and she had something about her that stood out. And when she went to pick out her jewels or whatever was there to look her best, she chose nothing. She needed nothing, wanted nothing. And she showed up to present herself before the king, and he found favor in her out of all these other beautiful women. And I love this, because she was kind of like how I was at that pageant. She was able to come before the king like herself, and she didn't need the extra stuff to stand out. So here she is, she's standing out, she's before the king, and he finds favor in her, and she becomes the queen. Now, he already got rid of his other wife, and so there's things that start happening, because no one knows that she's a Jew. And there's this bad guy, so to speak, that comes, and he basically tells the king, we need to destroy the Jews. They're a nuisance to you. And he builds this story about Jews, and the king's like, well, I mean, whatever you think. If you think my kingdom's at risk for having Jews around, do whatever you want. And he gives him the authority to make a ruling towards, on this date, all the Jews are going to be dead, and we're going to kill them all, and we're going to take all their stuff. And Esther finds out about this, and she's just heartbroken, because these are her people, and basically her adopted father, who loves her and loves where he's from and the culture and who he is and who he identifies as a Jew. And basically, back then, you didn't just go talk to the king, right? So she goes, she asks her best friends, her maidens, to fast and pray. And then she also asks all the Jews in the area to fast and pray. And they fast and pray, I think it's for 7 days. I can't remember, but I'm thinking it's for 7 days. And then she goes to the court, and she knows that she could die. All right? It's literally, her life is on the line. That if she goes before the king and he doesn't like what she has to say, or just even coming to the king without being called, she can actually, off with her head. Like, that's just the way it went back then, right? So she is super nervous, and all the people that are fasting are nervous, right? And she comes before the king, and he lets her in. And she invites them to a dinner. and he has favor in her, and he says yes, and he comes to the dinner, and at the dinner she's able to tell him all these horrible things that are going to happen to the Jews, and that she's a Jew. And I will tell you that Esther was such a hero in this moment, because I'm sure she was afraid, and she was a quiet person, and she had lost her parents at an early age, and here she changed the she saved the Jews. She put her fear aside because she had a big enough why. Now, I don't think that she really thought that she had what it takes to save her people. But she had the faith to walk in the light and the truth and the strength. And I just love this story because Esther could have been, it could have gone such a different way, because she had all this hardship earlier in her life. And it's like, when I think of, trusting and believing in something like a higher power, a God of your understanding, something bigger than us, and being able to have that faith, that strengthens us. That actually gives us, it magnifies our strength. So even if we don't think we have the strength to do it, there's something bigger than us that can help us. So she went to the king not knowing what the turnout was going to be. Kind of like every time you ask somebody to be a new client. So there's always this fear of rejection, right? There's always this fear of off with your head. Usually we don't have to be worried about somebody killing us by bringing up something, right? But the fear can still stop us. And Esther is my hero, because she didn't let fear stop her. And I often think about what if she didn't say anything? What if she was able to hide her Jewish heritage and just live out, the next 40, 50 years as the queen? And what would have happened to her people? And I just think of when we're thinking about our self-esteem and these gifts that you were born with, that God created you for. Because I believe we all have a plan here, just like Esther. We've been given a plan, and we've been given strengths. And what are you currently letting keep you down? What are you currently using as an excuse to not build up your birthright, your plan that God has for you, your creation, right? It's like, we want to make sure that we don't die with our music still inside of us. If she didn't speak up, if she didn't have enough faith and confidence, she wouldn't have been able to speak up. And so many times we are quiet because of fear. And there's something beautiful inside of all of us. We were created with these amazing strengths, and we don't have to do it alone. And I think that, I know as women, we can struggle with all these different areas that we're trying to do it alone. And we even, get married to these wonderful men, and we still try to do it alone. And, the feminine energy of a woman is being able to let others help us. And somewhere down, and this is true for men too. We all need help, and none of us have to do this alone. But a lot of us try to build our self-esteem alone. A lot of us hide from building our self-esteem because we think we have to do it alone. And so I first want you to think back to why you decided to set a goal, or why you decided to join a church or a program or a business or a gym, whatever it is. It's like when you first decided to make that goal, what were the desires? Like, what was the inspiration? Because I think sometimes when we start on a new journey, we forget what our inspiration was. And I think the first thing really to do is to actually ask the question, is this a good goal? And for me, I mean, I live my life by spiritual principles. So I ask God, is this a good goal? Do you want to back me up on this desire? Desire in Hebrew means of the Father. So when we have a desire, it comes from a higher level. And so when we check in with the frequency of our goal, and we know it's good, we know we want it, then nothing can stop us. But what happens is we start going down this path and we get sidetracked because excuses will come up, resentments will come up, distractions are going to come up, negative thoughts are going to come up. The adversary can attack you. There's all these different pulls that pull us away from this new journey. So I want to make sure that you're able to receive that there's help around. So, I mean, one of the reasons why I love coaching is because I don't have to do it by myself. I have a coach, I have a mentor, I have people around me, including the God of my understanding, that I do things together, that I have big enough goals that I know I can't do it by myself. And even something as small as recruiting new clients or sharing a message that I believe is going to make someone's life better. Fear gets in the way. And then let's say I get rejected by somebody, or somebody, ends up saying, no, I'm not interested, right? And, I can take that personally. And then I hold on to this resentment, right? I hold on to, well, that person doesn't need what I have, and that person said no to me, and I want to blame them, or I want to hold on to it, like a negative energy around, like, well, why did I even decide to do this anyway? Everyone says no, and everyone's saying no. No one really needs me. Maybe I'm asking the wrong people. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Maybe I need to go back to square one. Maybe I need to choose another goal. So that's actually normal, because that's what distracts us. That's what starts pulling us away. But if we've already in the beginning asked if this is a good goal, especially going to a higher power and knowing that God could back me up on this, because it involves helping other people and loving other people. Anything that has to do with loving and helping other people, God will back you on. So don't get distracted. Don't let your fears stop you from loving and helping other people. So like when we want to be a better parent and we decide, okay, I'm going to read this book and I'm going to start implementing this, and then our child's, behaves differently than we expected, and we're like, well, this doesn't work anyway, and we give up. It's so easy to give up, right? Because we don't think it's working, and we don't want to look stupid, and we don't want to ruin our relationship. Like, how many times do we cave? You know, how many times do we cave because of fear, because of resentment? So we are looking for ways to build ourselves up, and it doesn't always look the way other people do it. So when we find something that we have a desire and a passion about, there's nothing that needs to stop us. So we want to build ourselves up. So it's good to take a look at what is building us down, what is getting in the way. And I like these 4 questions because these 4 questions open up my mind and help me uncover what I need to change. And what I mean by that is what thinking in my brain needs to be changed. So a lot of our fears and our self-esteem comes from trying to look for it in all the wrong places. We're literally looking for love in all the wrong places. And so these questions are going to open your mind. So we can't be worried about what other people think of us, except we do it all the time. And I call it a worth grab because I'm literally grabbing outside of myself to feel worthy, validated, accepted. And I need proof. I need proof that people like me. I need proof that I'm successful. And I need that with these worth grabs. And so a worth grab can be a title. It can be money. It can be a status like married. It can be, a title like a mother. It can be the number on the scale. So there's these different things that we use to validate us that I'm okay. Accomplishments, right? So we do different things. Like maybe I run a marathon because I want to prove that I'm healthy, that I'm an athlete. It's like I need to make sure I have evidence for other people to think I have a great life. That's why we post all these great things on Facebook, right? So, and a worth grab has a lot to do with our intention, because we can post things that we're proud of on Facebook. It's just a lot of times we're doing it to get the validation from other people. And the way to build confidence is the exact opposite. We have to believe that I'm worth it. I have to believe there's evidence. I have to know, not by proving there's evidence, I need to know inside the way I feel about myself is the way self-esteem is built. And so, being aware of like what the truth is about my self-esteem. Like if you take away my worth grab of I'm a mother, if you take away my worth grab of how much savings I have in the bank, if you take away my worth grab of being married and now I'm a divorced woman, what happens to my worth? Do I feel less than because I'm divorced? Do I feel less than because I'm not a mom or I've never been able to have a baby? Do I feel less than if I didn't save money and I'm comparing myself to my neighbor who has a savings? So it's these things are worth grabs when if they were taken, I would feel differently about myself. So I wrote a book. So if I wrote a book and that book was taken, would I feel differently about my writing abilities? If my job is taken away from me, would I feel less than? So there's these things we put our identity on, and when they're taken, that's how you know if they're a worth grab, if you feel differently about yourself without them. That's how I figured it out, because sometimes you don't know until it's gone. I know that I didn't want to get divorced for a long time because I was afraid of what other people would think if I was divorced. I was afraid of what people would think, going to church and sitting alone. I was afraid that people wouldn't want me as a coach if I was divorced. I thought all kinds of stories in my head about being married, and I had to really look at those stories even when I got married again, because it's like, am I getting married for the right reasons? Because it's so easy to want to be married for the wrong reasons and look for love in the wrong places. So these are the questions. Number one, what do I think about me? Number two, what do I think about them? Number three, what do I think about the situation? Number four, what do I think they think about the situation? So when we're talking about, if we're at a job interview, these are really good questions to ask yourself, but you answer them only in the positive. Now, one way to do it is to just answer them the way you would, which is probably negative, because that's how our brain defaults, is negative, 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 critical, blaming, storytelling, assuming, all those things, right? So you could write that down and then go through and look at the words you use to describe those questions and find the opposite word, or what you would rather have instead. So, my sister has been dating for a couple, it's almost been 5 years since her divorce. And so she has been a lot of experience with dating, and she's starting to feel like it's never going to happen. She's never going to find the right guy. And so because of her experience, she's starting to get a little hopeless about the situation of, I'm never going to find the right guy. And so if she was just honestly asking herself those questions, she would, she might think like, there's something wrong with me. And then, well, what do I think about them? There's something wrong with them. What do I think about the situation? There's no men out there left to marry. What do I think they think? I think they're stupid and they don't know where to find me, right? What do I want? What's the positive spin on what do I think about me? I am wife material. I have all these amazing qualities and values and morals, and I really like me, and I really have a lot to offer, and I'm just looking for a partner to share my life with. What do I think about them? They just haven't met me yet. They're just waiting to meet me. They are filled with values and morals. They are attractive. They are a wonderful person. They love family. And I just go through all the positive things that I think about a guy I could date. And then what do I think about the situation? Like, I know there is somebody out there. I know there's a lot of fish in the sea. There has to be more than one amazing guy out there for me to date and to feel loved and cared for and protected and provided by. And what do I think they think about the dating situation? It's like they are getting ready to marry me and be available and present and excited, So in any situation, you can ask yourself these questions, right? Because it's like, I need to open myself and my mind to focus on how I can bring my vibration up, the vibration of my self-worth, of my self-love. And the last thing I want to make sure we get pointed out is that self-worth equals self-care. And that means that the way we love ourselves, the way we care for ourselves, tells our brain, I'm worthy of this. But so many times we forget, or we use the wrong kind of love, a worth grab, to try to fill up our worthiness or our love tank or the way we care about ourselves by achieving something that really is a counterfeit love. Because the love we're looking for ourselves to build self-esteem is inside. It's not accomplishing something. It's not someone else thinking I'm great. No. You were created for a wonderful plan. God created you with love. And if the word God is bothering you, don't worry. Don't let one word stop you from hearing the message. And replace the word God with love. Replace it with good. Replace it with something that you could work with. Because honestly, your self-esteem depends upon it. We want to raise the vibration and the energy around the way you feel about yourself. And there is a purpose. You have a purpose. And we just don't want you to die with your music still in you. The world needs to hear your music, your strength, your passion. The world needs you. You need you. So right now, I want you to get a pen and paper so that you can write these questions down. What do I think of me? Answer in a positive way. What do I think of them? Answer in a positive way. What do I think of the situation? What do I think they think of the situation? And this is going to uncover some valuable information about where you are right now. And it's going to help you focus on the positive to build your self-esteem up, to build your self-love higher, increasing the way your brain values you. Just like Esther, there is a plan. And if you don't stand up, if you don't let go of that fear, if you don't let go of the excuse, if you don't let go of the negative thinking, if you don't let go of the resentments, you might miss the opportunity to share your song, to share your music, to save your people. That's what Esther did. She had enough faith that even if she was going to lose her life, she was going to speak up. And her story just touches my soul. Thank heavens she built up that value and that worth, that plan. And she knew it was good. She knew what she was going to give her life up for was good. How about you?